Hi, this is Linda Aman Arts. Welcome to my world. Tonight we are going to have number 16 in our art talk, and it's going to be on color, part 1. And we're going to be talking about personal color and emotion. And I think you're going to find, I found some interesting things that I haven't tried with the way they say different colors and things are for emotion from what I found on the internet. So I think you might find it interesting. But we will start with our traditional joke first. So let me bring you over to the other screen with a share. Okay, so there's our title. And here is a very important thing to know. I think it's the only way that you should pick out your furniture is to match it up to your responding pet. Isn't that great? Okay, so let me start with a few things here that I want to show you. These are not the exact things we're going over, but I thought it was a really good list that when you come onto the subscription and see this again, you'd be able to review it. So something to think about is, how do you choose your colors and your palette of colors? What emotions do certain colors evoke in your work? We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. Have you planned the same subject in different colors to see how it changes the outcome or the emotion? Do you rely on color theory, intuition, or both? Have you ever experimented with a limited color palette? Have you had color phases? I have color phases in that I will get really hot on a color and everything I paint has that color in it, or everything is that color palette. And then other times I'll do some of my favorites. So some people, I know a few people that have a specific palette for years and they never add or subtract a color, and that is their palette. I'm a little more adventurous, or maybe I get bored with the same things and I want to change things up, but I change things and add things. So that's just a different way. Everybody's got their own way of doing things. Okay, so this is just a simple color wheel. And I would suggest, if you have a color wheel, you really give thought to not having a very complicated one, the one that has all kinds of dials on top and over and under and everything. Really, as you learn color, go with the basics, the complementary colors, the tertiary, the analogous, just have particular ones that you start learning. And we'll be talking about some of those different names. And actually, I simplify a lot of this. When I taught at the grade school, I felt that first grades don't really need to know tertiary and all these other things. We would just say, okay, everybody knows the primary colors, and then we talk about the complementaries. We're complimenting and saying, you look good, and so do I. We look good next to each other. We'll come up with ways that you'll find them easier to learn. Okay, so this is what we're going to do tonight. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different emotions here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a painting, and I'm going to show it to you quickly. And you're going to have a feeling about it. Your feeling may not be the same as someone else's, but I just thought it'd be kind of a fun way to play tonight. So I will show you the painting, and then we'll come back to this list, and then we'll open up the mics to say how you feel. If you're happy, sad, you feel that it gives you anger and anxiety or something, if it's surprising to you, hope. You might have a couple words to describe it, but when you first see it, quite often you're going to have an emotion. So this is the piece. Okay, think about how you're feeling about it. So it'd be happy, sad, fear, surprise, hope, love, calmness, confusion. Okay, now, if you open up the mic, say your name, and then I'll come back to it, but you should be able to have your emotion. Do you want to see it real quick one time more? Okay, let me throw it over there. Lucky you. What emotion does that give you? Happy, sad, fear, or like anxiety, surprise, hope, love, calm, confusion. All right. Someone give your name and tell me how you had an emotion on that.
Well,
This
this is
is,
Mar-
oh, go ahead.
okay. This is Marcia. And the first thing that came to me before you gave any choices was happy. It made me
Happy.
happy. Yeah.
Okay. Someone else.
This is Betty, and I agree with that. It's real light, cheerful colors, a lot of
Mhm.
sunshine colors, so it makes you feel, yeah, happy and joyful.
All right. Someone else.
This is Roshi. I also felt happy.
Okay.
Happy, but I would also add it just gave me a sense of energy, happy energy.
Happy energy. Boy, we could use that. Happy energy. Someone that had a different reaction. Now, remember, this is a safe place to learn, right? Okay, Frankie,
Do I need to turn on my mic or is it on?
it's on.
Okay. Love.
Love.
Because,
Okay,
because my history there.
good. Oh, that's right. Hawaii and everything is your place. That's right. Good. Anyone else having another thought?
This is Brittany. Mine was surprise. It kind of caught me off guard with the bright,
Oh.
vibrant colors, and it was a good
Okay.
surprise. But it just kind of, oh,
Good. Isn't it nice to have a nice surprise instead of a bad one?
yes.
So let's look at it again. And I'll ask maybe two other people that haven't said something. Maybe it's your second thought or you just hadn't talked yet, but think of what that gave you an emotion of. Got it? All right, I'm back.
Well, this is Peggy, and my reaction was happiness, but also kind of hopeful
Hopeful. Okay.
because the flowers, like in spring when
they're springing and they're coming up. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. Good.
This is Debbie.
Mhm.
And
Go ahead.
I see happy and I also see surprise in it too
Oh, okay.
because of the oranges. Whoa.
Okay. So I'm going to write these down because that's kind of fun. All right. We get a piece of paper. All right. So on this one, the Island in Bloom, and I'll put it over there for you to see it here a minute. We're gonna be jumping back and forth sometimes. Island in Bloom. We had happy, love, and surprise. Oh, and hope, didn't we?
hopeful.
Hopeful, that's right. Okay, all right. Now, I'll give you a thought that's interesting. Some people have heard this story, but a lot of you know my really in close flowers that I do, very close in view. I had someone, this is years ago in Oregon, came to a class in our home and they saw this big floor, full sheet, big flower, and it was in very close. So it's that kind of thing that it had the center and all the blossoms all the petals came out, but you don't see it, the edges are kind of petals as well. And she said, is that going to stay here? And I said, yeah, it's here. And she goes, I can't stay in your home.
Oh
And
my
I said,
gosh.
why? And she said, it's too close. And she was like attacked by it. It's just on the wall. And I've never seen a reaction. I've had guys go, yeah, it's a flower, but I've never had anybody in fear and couldn't handle the in close flower. She went outside. I talked to her a little bit and she said, yeah, I just can't take anything that close to me. Never saw her again. So these can
Interesting.
have different reactions.
Hmm.
We're all different people. So if one of you has to go like this, I'll know you had a really different reaction. How many of you find that kind of interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an emotional. I said to Rick later in the night when he came home, I said, my flower got quite the emotion. He said they loved it. And I said, not quite. And we were just kind of surprised by that. So that was probably 12 years ago, but I still remember. Okay, so here are the words again. We're going to the second one. Yes, the second one. This is also quite large, so don't be afraid of it. Oh, so it is happy. And of course, you're going to know your emotion. It may not fit these words. You're going to know your emotion now, how we're doing it. happy, sad, anger, fear, or anxiety. I kind of put those together, which would have been that person, right? They would have had anxiety in it. Surprise, love, calm, confusion. Ready? All right. And these happen to be all my paintings, but I won't be upset if you don't like something. All right. Reaching color is its name. Get your thoughts together. Okay, gonna give you a breath and then I'm gonna come back to it. If I stay on it, you can change your thoughts too. Okay, there it is. Okay, who would like to say how they feel about it?
Okay, I will.
Marcia?
The first thing that came to me was electric.
Oh, I kind of like that.
How interesting, because my first thought was, or my first feeling was calmness and serenity.
Okay, there we go.
You, you know, it's really funny because I had both of those things. I thought calm, and then I saw all the excitement. So it was really strange for me to have both of those emotions.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? It's just, Sharon, you're gonna have to unmute. You're muted, Sharon. Yeah, you can have the extremes in the same thing. Sharon, go ahead.
Yeah, my first one was tranquil, actually. Same thing. It was more a calming, I think because it looks like it comes from a place that would be calming for me. You know,
Okay.
it looks tropical. It looks like a place that you're
Okay,
relaxed.
let's take a peek again real quick to refresh your memory.
I think for me, it was the greens, the muted greens.
The soft
And the
transforming.
softness and mutedness in general, but especially those greens.
Okay, good. Someone else.
That was calming.
Frankie.
I don't know how to put this into an emotion other than it's an emotion that I feel, and that's what I call flow.
Flow.
And movement. When
You know,
something-
that's actually a good description because they are moving together. Almost, you do a lot of fish and seaweed, so I would
Mhm.
think that it probably goes with the emotion that you put
Almost
into
all
that.
of my art has some kind of that feeling in it, and I don't know what word you would attach to that, calm or what excitement or whatever, because it's kind of a combination of all of that. It's just movement, flow.
Okay,
It has
I'm gonna write
it has
movement
the
with
right
it
kind of
too.
energy to me. It's not energetic, but it has a movement that I feel,
Okay, good. Well, that's an emotion. Good.
Mhm.
Someone else.
Well, my reaction was surprise because the colors were so different than I would have expected.
Okay. And when I painted it, Peggy, it was in the Boise Botanical Gardens, and it's about this tall, that big,
Oh
and
my
it's one of
gosh.
those little succulents that's real fuzzy,
Mhm.
and it was one color, green. And that's why it's called reaching color, because it was reaching for something other than just green. So,
So I'm
but
suddenly
it's
having a sort of theoretical disconnect here. Because in fact, as I think about it, as opposed to looking at it, it's complementary colors. It's based on red and green complementary colors, which you would not expect to be calming, actually.
and let's look at that. They are not the pure red.
That's what I'm thinking. It's because
Yeah.
they're subdued, except there is that one big red one there that I guess I decided to gloss over.
Yeah, there's a couple reds and there's a little bit, if you really have an imagination, there's some pure yellow and blue. But yeah, these colors, look at that purple runs in. This is part of the calming, I think, is it goes from this deep stuff and it just goes out to reach very quietly. That's not what I meant it to do. All right.
Okay.
Someone else, and I'll go to the next one. One more thought.
Jean,
Jean.
I started with peaceful and then I was puzzled because I love the colors, so it seemed more than peaceful. So like a peaceful and then happy, because I love the colors.
Are you guys learning anything about yourselves tonight? Oh. I'm not grading you.
It was peaceful plus. That's why.
Peaceful plus, I like that. Okay. Now this one, I'm gonna bring up and I'm gonna let it sit just a little longer. This is a very large piece, 60 by 60 inches, or maybe it's bigger. I really don't remember the size of it, but it's a good size. So we'll pull this one up and see how you feel about this one. You probably feel like you're at the doctor's office. And what do you think of this number or letter? Okay. It's not really a lot of color as we think of color, is it?
No.
It is color, but it's pretty different than the ones we saw before. Take a little breath there. All right. What do you think?
This is Betty. It makes me think of darkness coming into light.
Oh. Okay.
This is Marcia. And for me, it was subdued and quiet.
Good.
And this is Sharon. I thought of transition. Similar
Ooh.
to what Betty said, I guess.
Okay. Let's look again. Barbie, you're gonna
No,
Barbie,
I agree with the transition.
transition. Okay, good. Let's look again here. This one got into a national show in Idaho Falls last year. It was really nice. It was right at the top of the steps. People came up and upstairs and saw it. Okay, someone else.
This is Jean. I found it intriguing.
Intrigue.
Yeah.
So are you to the intrigue of your confusion or just
No, interesting.
interesting? Okay.
Yeah, just like what it makes me want to look longer.
Okay.
Puzzle,
Okay.
a puzzle. A good puzzle.
Sandy? Go ahead, Frankie.
To me, I thought of actually hope, because it looks like growth. It looks like roots coming up, and
Okay.
dark roots going into light and maybe spreading up to bring light up into darkness. So I thought of actually hope.
Good. Thank you. Sandy.
I actually had exactly the same word, intriguing, in my
Oh.
mind, and it was linked to curiosity. It made me curious almost about what's next.
Good. And it was quite curious to paint. It went in different ways than I expected, and it was like, oh, you want to do that? And I planned on other things in it, but then it just felt really calm. And I'll show you something interesting here. See here where the dark little tree branches are against light paper, and so they're dark against white. This is white against dark. If you look through the whole thing, almost everything is opposites, continuous opposites. So you have little black circles and you have white circles. You have the transition of the black to the gray, and then you have the tan to the white. So decided to show you that for fun. Okay, now this one's a little bit different for you. So let's look here at the list of the words real quick. Okay, there's your list. Happy, sad, fear, surprise, hope, love, calm, confusion, and then we've got tranquil, flow. Oh, we have a whole bunch of others. Okay, here we are. Some of you would know I've been working on this. Now, this is a tougher one. This is a harder one to maybe decide. I think we'll have a lot of different thoughts on this. Okay, you ready? All right, that's a different one.
So I'll go, this is Jean. That one made me happy.
I second that emotion.
Wow. Okay.
Sharon, I'd say intriguing.
Intriguing.
I want to look. I want to really look and get involved.
Okay. You want more time to discover. Okay.
And in some respects, this is Barb, it reminds me a little of the first one, because it's got a similar feeling, whimsy, light.
Oh,
Nice.
thank you. Those were good words. This is brand new and this is the size of a double bed. So think about sleeping on that tonight. It's big.
Can we
Okay, I'm
see
gonna
it
show it to
again
you.
with that image?
Pardon?
Can we see it again, thinking of it as that big?
And what I want you to do is actually, someone may be disturbed by this because it's quite different and I'm okay with that. Okay, there you go. It's called Beauty Out of the Brambles.
Good
But
name.
There it
it's got a lot of geometric with organic, doesn't it? The flowers being
Mhm.
organic, branches being organic, and then there's triangles and the circles and everything all over the place would be your geometric. All right, now what do you think?
This is Marcia. For me, the flowers look very soft and kind of like they're floating, and so it gave me a tranquil feeling.
Wow, you guys are really surprising me. Part of it is I was in the process of it. It took 6 months to get it to that. So it wasn't tranquil for me.
I'm sure.
Linda, I felt full, like satisfied. The way you feel after you've had a really wonderful meal.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
That's cool. That's a good way to explain
That's
it.
a good way, yeah.
Anyone else? Okay. Frankie?
Yeah, happy really and surprised. And when I send you some of my art later, you'll see why.
I have a consult with Frankie tomorrow that she purchased and she's gonna ready for another one. Do you want to see that one more time since it was very large and
Sure.
it took me 6 months?
Yes.
Because what we're going to do a little later is come up with some thoughts of why maybe you felt the way you did because of the colors. Okay. All right. Stop share. All right. This next one, we've got just, this is 2 more slides after this. I'm right on time where I want to be. Okay. This one, the reason I'm writing these down is because it really gives me some insight, not only into my own paintings, but you know, when you're at a show, somebody goes, oh, that's pretty. You know, they come up and say something, but you're having to really think deeply about how it affects you. And I think that's good. All right, you ready? Okay. If you leave the room because it's edge to edge, I understand the story of that person way back. All right. Thoughts?
Oh, this is
It just, this is Betty. It just exudes light and cheerfulness. It comes at you not quietly, you know, but it just it exudes that lightness in a very strong way.
Would you say it comes boldly?
Yes, that would be exactly it.
Okay, let's look at that again. And you can see why something like that might be hard on someone because it is bold, even though it's soft. And this is not too, the one that I remember her seeing was in coral, so it was even lighter than this. Okay, someone else.
This is Roshi. I really agree with Betty. The word that came immediately was alive. It just looks very alive.
Good. That's one of my favorite ways of doing flowers.
And this is Marcia, and it was very similar. For me, it was excitement.
Okay. Anybody else on that one? I'll take you to another.
And it was mostly the colors that made me feel that way.
Yeah.
And actually, I'd say that that's what you're coming up on. We're going to come back with another way of asking some things that will give you some insight maybe of why you had the emotion you did. Like we talked about, well, this one, you know, with the soft colors, bold, but soft and wide range of the white colors that are, will come here, the white colors that are the, you know, and then coming into soft and then coming into bright colors and then coming through here. You're traveling through quite a few different kinds of things.
Mhm.
So, okay. Let me get the next one. All right. This is a little different than the one you just saw. I see Betty's eyes. I just went, her eyes
Whoa.
Yeah.
big. Betty, you might as well say something because I can see your face and you're like,
Well,
yeah.
after the other one being those bright colors and just exuding this sunshine and energy, this has such depth. I mean, that dark spot at the front just hits you like, whoa, this is bold. But then you want to go back and look to see what's going on in there. So it's
So it
very
travels,
active.
it travels you, it has,
Yeah, but it makes me think of volcanoes.
The red.
You know,
probably.
that red fiery and then the dark, it's very active.
mm-hmm. Do you see what it's called?
Oh, okay. Turbo. Okay.
That was
makes sense.
at a workshop that I taught, and it was a demonstration in front of every, they got to see the whole thing being made. And they
Wow.
said I did it really fast and really excitement and throwing paint everywhere. So they titled it. They said I was a turbo artist. And it sold before I was finished, which was kind of cool. So that's another emotion that you saw. Okay, I'm gonna take you away for a minute.
I think I looked at it and the first thing I saw was chaos, not necessarily chaos meaning it's bad, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's not like the flower or the other ones that kind of come out and give you where they're going. This one's like,
Right.
it is chaos.
Yeah, it's not peaceful.
No.
No.
Right.
My first
How many of you
response was
would say you did
overwhelm.
not feel, say it, Sandy?
My first response was overwhelm, overwhelming.
Good one.
That's the first response. Then if I sit with it, I have something else, but that was my
Okay.
Mine was
They have
anger.
places in there to rest after the initial chaotic reaction I had to it. Then I looked at it and there were places to rest within, the composition, but
Mm-hmm. And Sharon, when we come back to it, I want all of you to notice that I did leave places that you could do what I call take a breath of air. Because if it's all the whole thing and you have no place to take a breath, you really don't want to stay.
This
Yeah.
is
So I
Marcia.
tried, now let me show you, and you caught it, Sharon, because see here, if you have a place that you can rest for a few moments and then get back into it, it's a very quick moment, but it gives you a breath of air.
right.
Yeah.
So you can go back in. So it made me want to stay, even though my first reaction was it's chaotic. It made me want to look farther because I did have places to rest and to calm down and then go back in.
We could call it blood pressure.
Yep.
This is Marcia.
Mhm.
My first reaction was anger. It seemed angry, but then after I looked at it for a while, it was more strength.
Oh, strength. Is there anybody else that felt anger or concern or it bothered you, Peggy?
It didn't bother me, but to me, it expressed anger.
Mm.
It didn't make me feel angry. I thought it was expressing
It was
anger.
expressing that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Frankie.
I'm going to go back to my flow again, except this is the energetic flow. This is the vibrance and the movement and strength. That's what I see or saw or felt from this, strength.
And this was not a really large, I think this is like a 20 by 20 or 20 by 24, not really big. Think of this if it were the size of a double bed. It would not give you the same emotions, would it?
No.
No.
Size.
It'd be great though in a building, a huge building, and then have that, and
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be in the right. I will tell you, all of you, I don't believe you will ever see anything like that in a doctor's office or
No.
a medical office or a hospital.
No.
Right.
Next time you go to a medical of anything, you will not see red.
Yeah,
Blood.
yeah, makes sense.
It reminds you of blood, and you don't want that there. So just
You're
look
right.
sometime and you'll see some bold paintings, but I've never seen in any of those places red being the major color. I never have. And I've had some of mine sold to a hospital in Boise that they have up, and they're very calming.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the last one. This one I want to let you know, one of them is large, and then two of them are 12 by 10 or something. They're all on cradled boards, which means they stand out from the wall. And the reason I put all three up is because all three of them are painted from the one photograph of a flower that was yellow. So when you see it, it's one photo painted in three different ways. Okay.
Interesting.
And what's interesting about it is when you see it, the yellow one, you go, yeah, she's matching the yellow to yellow. But the other color, you'll find out, okay, she matched yellow to that to get the. So this one might be a little interesting for you, but you might look at all of them and decide maybe you like the one color that stands alone or you like the other color, but what emotions these give you. So those are all some from the same photograph, painted a little bit different in each one. This one's just in yellow and golds. This has purple in it, and this one is red painted from the yellow.
Yeah.
All right. Emotions, and you can say maybe one that you liked, or it's just kind of open for your emotions.
The yellow, this is Marcia, the yellow made me feel hugged.
Oh,
And no, excuse me. The yellow made me feel kissed, and the red made me feel hugged. A big, strong bear hug.
okay.
I have to admit that this is Roshi, that yellow always makes me feel sunny and optimistic, kind of. And this was just very sunny.
Okay. And some of you know, Rick likes these, but when I'm painting, he'll say, now, Linda, remember, yellow is not a color. He doesn't care for yellow. So I always, whenever I see something yellow like that, I go, yeah, that's really not a color. Oh. Okay, do you see the subtle differences between these?
Oh, yeah.
And then I did the flower center a little different from each one, but it's the same. You can see it's the same photograph. Do you think it would be hard
Yeah.
to paint this from looking at a yellow rose?
Mm.
You're looking at a photo like this and you're doing red. What would be hard about that?
Well, I think
What-
you would just look at the values.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're looking at the shape and values and put them in red instead of yellow.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's a really good thing to do for your brain because you're having to go, okay, I'm not doing yellow, I'm doing red, but this is a darker yellow area, that's a lighter area. It's really a good
Yeah.
exercise. Okay, so I looked these up and I'm think of one of the pictures. It could be any one of them. So let me just bring those up. I'll run them up and you can see all of them kind of come through. So there. Let me show you this. I found this really fascinating because I agree with quite a bit of it, and yet some of it maybe not. So let's think about a happy one. Okay, so here's happiness. They said the colors that would quite often give you that expression would be bright yellows, warm oranges, vivid greens, soft pinks. Huh, that kind of goes with some of them that we talked about.
Yeah.
Strokes would be light, flowing, energetic, expressive.
Mm-hmm.
Open spaces, uplifting movement, curved lines. Features, smooth, airy, and soft blends. So let's just take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's exactly the one that I would have chosen to focus on, and it's
Of that,
exactly all those things.
And I just thought these would be interesting to go through. Sadness, deep blues, muted grays, dark purples, desaturated tones, which means it's not a pure color. Brushstrokes slow, I thought that was interesting. Heavy, dripping, blended edges. Empty spaces, downward lines, isolation of the subjects, soft, blurred, misty, or rough or raw effect. We had one that everybody thought was sad, but I would say that could be some of that, or
Yes,
Yes.
that one is the one I
That's
thought.
the one.
Yeah.
do you see how this is kind of, I thought these definitions were quite interesting. Anger. Which one should we pull that one to? I'm kind of steering a different direction now that I know what we're doing.
Turbo.
Yeah.
What'd we say? All right, let's see.
Turbo.
Intense reds,
Yep.
fired orange, deep blacks, sharp
Yep.
contrast,
Yeah.
brushstrokes, aggressive, bold, erratic, thick, composition, sharp angles, chaotic,
Mhm.
movement, fragmented forms, harsh, rough, thick layers of paint. What do you think?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that definitely fits it.
Maybe I should use these to paint by now. Okay. Then we did all three of those, right? Yeah, anger, sadness.
yes.
Colors. I thought this was interesting. I don't know why they're saying colors. I think I might type that wrong. That's not a feeling. I might type that in there wrong. So let's just see what it says. Unusual contrasts, spontaneous, loose, dynamic movement, unexpected focal points, exaggerated proportions, mixed media, layered elements, and bold contrasts.
I think
I
that was
think-
supposed to be surprise, Linda, because that was the fourth one.
Thank you. It is. Okay, thank you. Unusual contrasts. Okay, bright yellow against blues, neon tones, spontaneous, loose, dynamic. Okay, which one should we put it to? It would be kind of that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Surprise?
Yeah.
First
Mhm.
one,
I was thinking more the first one
me
too.
too. Yeah,
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
that one was my surprise.
I think so
Hmm.
too. Let's say that again. Surprise. Unusual contrast. Bright yellow against deep blues. We have deep bluish greens. Spontaneous, dynamic movement, unexpected focal points, exaggerated proportions, layered elements, bold contrast, mix. Yep, that one fits the
Neon.
bill.
Mhm.
I did a series of these in Hawaii outside and used the actual plants to trace around. Here's a palm.
Oh,
These are flowers I stuck down and traced around them. These are actually, I sprayed over the real thing. See those little leaves and things?
Hmm.
So I have a whole series of these, and I would say that probably fit that surprise element.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then we've got
Whoops, we missed, oh yeah.
colors was supposed to be
Surprise.
Surprise.
surprise. And I can't fix it here because oh, maybe I can. I don't know if I can or not. Oh, I can.
Hey.
Wow.
Great.
That was a surprise.
Well,
Okay.
Okay, once it's recorded, I can't do it. Okay, hope. Let's think of hope. Bright blue skies, uplifting yellow, soft whites, glowing golds, brushstrokes, light, wispy, upward movement, open spaces, ray of lights, reaching figures, textures, glowing light. You know, that kind of fits this one again.
It kind of fits the other one too. The next one.
More, the next one.
I think
Yeah.
so.
That one, yes.
Or the yellow rose.
And the yellow rose.
I
Yeah.
thought it would fit Penny's Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Penny's Rose is that soft romantic one.
Yeah.
That too.
So that does look hope, doesn't it?
mhm.
I think part of it's because to me, it's like engulfing you inside and hugging. Like, I think somebody even said that. You're kind of being engulfed in it and coming into it and, you know, into a cozy little spot. All right. So I think this is one. We just did hope. Love. Soft pinks, romantic reds, gentle pastels, warm purples. gentle, sweeping, delicate transitions of brushstrokes. Composition, harmonious forms, flowing movement, embracing figures, textures of smooth, soft edges, blending light and shadows. Love would probably not be as many high textured areas, right?
Mhm.
Now, these are not hard, fast rules, but they kind of give you. So what are you thinking on the word love? Which one would you want me
That
to?
pink,
Pink rose.
yeah, that one, the
and
pink,
That one.
yeah, that one.
Okay,
And also the yellow and red ones,
roses.
yeah.
The three, yes.
okay, good. And that's interesting because this is not soft as much, but it is the color red and petaled.
Thanks.
Okay, because red reminds us of love quite often. All right, let's do this one. Calmness. That's probably very close to the ones we're just saying that we're love, right? Maybe.
Mhm.
Some of you said this one. Being calm.
That one
That one I think is calm.
is very calm.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So we kind of got that. And then confusion. I think we're going to know this one.
Yeah.
Flashing hues, unpredictable color combinations, neons against dulls, cool tones, warm tones in unexpected ways. Erratic, overlapping, layered, fragmented, giving a sense of uncertainty or chaos. Composition, disjointed elements, misplaced focal points, jumbled shapes, interacting in, I know I'm jumping, unnatural ways. Textures rough, inconsistent, layered, or creating a sense of distortion or uncertainty. Would you think that might be it?
No,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
No,
no,
that's
No.
more.
no, no, no,
I
no,
think,
no.
I think that's more it than the one everyone else is thinking
That
of.
one. Yeah.
Yes, that one.
So you don't see that as much that way as this one.
I don't.
No. I think the one you had before with the big one, that one, brings more wonder. I wonder what's going on in there.
Okay.
It's
It's
not
not
negative.
thing,
You've got the
yeah.
light blues that are just kind of calming and nice. You've got the
Mhm.
flowers coming up, but changes are happening.
But
So
it doesn't
it's-
make you feel like it's got chaos or confusion?
No, it
No.
doesn't.
It
I
seems,
wouldn't know if that's because the shapes are recognizable. You can look at that and see that's a flower. But
Mhm.
in other ways, it really is, I think, a little bit more. I don't know how to. I wish I had words to better express it. The other one does not have shapes that you can look
No.
at and say that's a such and such.
No.
Nevertheless, I do see a composition and purpose in things in this composition.
Was this planned, everyone, or was it just thrown in hoping for the best?
And
No, it was planned.
Everything's planned.
Mhm.
Is that because you know me, or
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
but
but
you
you've
can
got
see it. You can-
repetition,
you
you've
can see
got
it.
your, you've.
Look at the
shapes,
red
repetition, line work.
Yeah, look at the red tubing coming out to the red, focal point surrounded by black. Look at the white with the black dots, tubing coming out. Look at the gray one on the right side coming out, and the red one. And
They're
I mean,
interacting, aren't they?
they're all
Yeah.
centered coming out. I mean, and coming out of something. I mean,
And they're
this is
connected.
really composed
That's
piece, very
the-
composed.
I think they're connected by the line work. And
They
so
are.
there's no.
Yes, but
It-
yeah, but also, just
Barb, are
by
you the one that said that?
Mhm.
That's
Yes.
really good because all right, everybody put your hand over the line and see if it would do the same. If it looks the same, if you took that line that intertwined around. Does that help bring the thing together?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And also I do want to tell you something funny. See all this polka dot? It's a really light tissue paper that is white with the dots on it. When I was at this retreat that I was teaching at, I took a little break. Whoops. Took a little break and bought a blouse, and it was wrapped in that tissue paper. So I brought the tissue paper and decided to put it in. And of course, here to intertwine, see how it's white here, but it's transparent, and then I ran some of the orange over this. If this were white down there, would it be as interesting, or is it more interesting that the corners are all different?
Different.
Travel.
So it was
Makes you
strategically
travel.
planned.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I would call it strategic planning. So, okay. So let me pull down to this. All right, where's that slide at? Okay. Somebody just came or left, one of the two. Okay. So I thought these descriptions of the different kinds of things we saw tonight were kind of interesting. Now, they're not going to always be true, right? But I found these this week when I was studying, and I thought, wow, that might give me some thoughts if I wanted to make something with surprise. Maybe I think some of those elements to be included. If I wanted something to be hopeful, or if I wanted a mixture of some things, that gives a little bit of an idea how to do that. So I have a plan in my paintings of how I try to convey emotion. So none of the things I try to do is I try to convey emotion. I want to travel you through in a particular way. I usually have multiple compositions that are layered over each other. I have color chords that I'm thinking of. I usually want a little bit of a surprise in there. So I have this list in my head of things, no matter what I'm making of those different styles, what I want an outcome to be. But it was really fun to see that some of the things that I didn't think that I was communicating how I wanted to, you guys are so intelligent. You caught some of those, and it just gives me a lot of joy to find that, especially that ginormous one. It's going in a big show, on a big wall. You know, it's not going to be something you just walk by because it's large. But I'm glad that it's after 6 months of working on it, it's happier.
Where's the show going to be, Linda?
The show is going to be at the Art Museum of Eastern Idaho in Idaho Falls. And it is going to be, I'm going to be announcing it. It's going to be coming up in July, August. It's 2 months. And Gloria Miller Allen and I are doing the 3 of the rooms and the foyer with paintings. It's
Oh,
huge.
wow.
So this is quite the endeavor. And thinking that clever endeavor, we're writing a book. And Sandy is our editing it for us and finding all of our mistakes. But we're really excited about it because it's going to go along with the show and a lot of different things. But stay tuned. We're going to talk about that. And it's just, we have to do a lot of new pieces to fill these rooms because you're not supposed to have something that's ever repeated in there. And we both decided that we're going to have mainly abstracted to abstracted to some traditional. So we're going to have like a range of things. So looking forward to it. All right. We're coming up to the time already. I want to hear what you learned from this tonight, what you've felt about the way that we came about it. Next time, I'm going to bring up something else on color. This was just kind of an introduction to color to see how we might be able to find how different colors feel in different kinds of work. Okay, so I would love some thoughts. You can unmute and say your name and give me some thoughts of what you gained from this tonight.
This is Marcia.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was really interesting to see, first of all, how many moods can be emoted from a painting.
Mm-hmm.
And second, how the different ways that they are emoted, like as you pointed out, through color, through line, through so many different ways that make you feel a certain way with paintings.
And
'Cause
how different each person can feel.
Mhm.
Gosh, yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was very interesting.
good. Someone else.
There were
Sharon.
a lot of commonalities that we found.
Mhm.
But then at other times, there was a complete, excuse me, 180 degrees differential between, people, like tranquil or energetic,
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so it's very interesting to see how it
Mhm.
reacts to people.
That tells you a lot, Sharon, about how when a person judges our work for a competition,
Yeah.
everyone here, if they were the judge, they'd go, it's just too disturbing, it's just too busy, it's chaotic. Another person would go, wow, it's energetic, I love it. I mean, that's the thing that art does. And I would say probably every one of these, when you're thinking of emotion, you had an emotion of some kind. Am I right?
Mhm.
Each one of them evoked something in your thoughts.
Right.
Okay, someone else.
This is Roshi. I
Mhm.
found something interesting for me was sometimes my feeling was more influenced by color, but sometimes my feeling was more interested by movement or shapes.
Right.
And I never thought about that before, that those could cause emotion.
In fact, I think it would be interesting to do something just like this, showing them all in black and white first.
Ooh.
Yes, it would be interesting.
And if we did them all in black and white, and then the next series we go through the same paintings with color, how much difference it's, because then we're isolating the shapes and the values without color. Would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be very
that'd be
interesting.
interesting.
Because
I
we
agree.
would take out the bang, and you
Yeah.
would have to see an entirely different way of it, and you might have an emotion that is entirely different when you would see the color one.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I'll set that up if you like, and we'll do a different number of the paintings. Okay,
That'd
all
be
right.
interesting.
I think so, because we really do rely on color a lot,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and it totally changes our emotions, viewpoint, and all of that. So I think that might be interesting.
How many of you remember, because it looks like we're, kind of within 10 or 15 years of each other in ages, but
Mhm.
the first time you saw the original Wizard of Oz movie in
Yes.
color,
Yes.
when all of a sudden they were in Munchkin Land, and then the first time you saw the witch and she was green. I mean, that was huge for me.
Yeah.
Huge. My sister had nightmares. I mean, she just couldn't get past that green witch.
Well,
But
you know,
It's
you'd seen it
hard
for
in black
years
and
as a
white.
black and white movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
someone else give me a thought of what they learned or enjoyed.
I think that last conversation was extremely enlightening because like the green and orange is not a color that appeals to me. So
Mhm.
seeing it in black and white, I would see it probably a totally different painting. And I thought that was a really nice good conversation to have.
Yeah, I think we will. I think that'll be fun next time, because, and that would be a good takeoff from here, because yeah, that Hawaii one just would not, it would just be shapes and values.
Mhm.
It would have a different look.
Right.
Okay,
Wow.
someone else.
I like I like um I like taking time to really look past shape. Or I don't know how to put this exactly. Look past familiarity in shape
Mhm.
and look toward how things are structured, if that makes sense.
It does, and that black and white would help us see structure.
Yeah.
Good. Okay,
And
so
I
I'm going to take
that,
you
that
over
idea
here real
came to me
quick.
while we were looking at these paintings today.
Good. Structure is really important. So this is about the subscription. You've heard me talk about it before. And I have a lot of other things I do too, consults and in-person classes and things online of different kind. I would invite you to be thinking, if you've enjoyed these art talks and you haven't joined the Aman Arts Academy online, you might consider it. It's $20 a month, and you can start it and stop it at any time. And that might give you an opportunity to not only see these 16 or 18 different art talks, but there's like 60 to 70 other videos of lessons and tips and interviews and all kinds of things. And so give some thought to that. You can always just email me or call me to learn more about it. But I would love it if you could join us in that. So give some thoughts to that. And thank you for coming. I think this was really pretty enlightening. Next time it will be in black and whitening. But I think it really helped me. It gave me a different look on my own art, because there's some things that I thought were like, all right, they're not going to see this as happy. And you had interesting comments. So, and different, like some of you have said, opposite. Like some of you said, when I first saw it, I felt this. And then I looked at it again, and it was completely the opposite of the thinking when you saw a little bit longer. So I thought that was interesting as well. So thank you for coming. Invite your friends. They can get onto this list. I think it's really good for people to see what artists think and do, so they don't have to be an artist.